spell your first and last name for me, please?
Sit down and swing the microphone to you, please.
You may proceed.
Thank you, Judge. Good afternoon. Could you say your name for the record, please?
Alexandra Ventacinque.
Ms. Ventacinque, are you familiar with an individual known as Natalia Muntean?
I am.
Are you familiar with an individual named Radu Muntean?
I am.
And how do you know these two individuals?
I'm friends with both of them, and I met both of them last year.
Do you presently, or have you ever lived with the Munteans?
Yes.
From when to when?
About, I would say, November 2015 to about a month ago.
And what was your relationship? Were you just a tenant?
I was just kind of the in and out little roommate and did a bunch of dishes.
And you said you recently moved out?
Yes, I moved to Alabama.
What, do you recall the date that you moved out?
I believe June 9th. June 9th.
2016?
2016.
So from November 2015 to June 2016 were, if you know, Natalia Muntean and Radu Muntean married?
Yes.
What was the nature of their relationship?
They were struggling to try to make things work, but everything kind of just fell apart.
What do you mean by fell apart?
There was a lot of dishonesty on Natalia's behalf and a lot of frustration on Radu's, and I think everything became so overwhelming and it just kind of spiraled.
Did you personally witness any domestic violence in the home?
There was a lot of arguing. On one occasion, Radu was trying to sleep and Natalia kept banging on his door, and he shoved her out of the doorway and slammed the door shut.
Would you consider, or do you consider yourself to be a friend of both parties?
Yes.
Call your attention to March 22nd, 2016. Did anything out of the ordinary happen that day?
Earlier that day, Radu was just not himself, nor was Natalia. They were both very tired, just emotionally drained, and I couldn't deal with it. So I left for work and got a phone call from both Natalia and Radu later that evening.
Do you remember when you were contacted by Natalia Muntean?
About 8 p.m.
What was the nature of that phone call?
The nature of the phone call was to give me directions to Detroit, the field of which they were found, and to give me directions to where her jewelry was placed. She told me that she wanted Nadia to have their wedding rings, and that was about it with Natalia.
Who is Nadia?
Nadia is their daughter.
How old is Nadia?
She will be 3 in September.
Outside of the jewelry and the directions to the field, were any other instructions given to you by Natalia Muntean?
Not by Natalia.
Were there text messages sent to you by
Yeah.
Natalia Muntean?
Yes, there was. Crossroads and a Google Maps picture of the exact location.
Did Natalia ever express to you her desire to kill herself?
She mentioned multiple times about suffering with depression and suicidal thoughts, just through personal conversation. Days before the actual incident, she mentioned how she was giving up, how she couldn't do it anymore, and she was afraid that she was having suicidal thoughts.
Did you end up going to the location?
I did end up going to the location.
And what did you observe?
I observed Radu step away from the truck and start walking towards me. I was looking around, trying to kind of piece together what was going on. He looked really tired, just kind of not himself, how he has been the past few days, so it was really kind of nothing new to me. I saw Natalia sitting in the truck. I saw a phone light, and the door was the driver door was open, and I met Radu in the street, talked to him, asked him what was going on, and he just told me that he couldn't do this anymore, and I wasn't sure what was happening, and I tried to go see Natalia. Radu told me not to go towards the truck, and then I saw her reach in the back seat. She looked tired, but she was moving fine, and I kind of just figured it was another cry wolf moment, and I couldn't help.
Specifically, what do you mean by cry wolf moment?
I spent probably 3 weeks listening to them argue and just consistently say that they're giving up, but then the next day they wanted to try again, and how one can do better. And it was just an emotional roller coaster consistently, that I thought this incident was just another cry wolf of attention.
Outside of your observations of Mr. Muntean being tired, did you notice anything else about his demeanor?
He didn't sleep for about 4 days. He was just, he kind of started talking to himself, trying to piece together their relationship, and that was about it.
Did he appear to be under the influence of any substances or alcohol?
Yes, there were drugs involved.
One moment, Judge, please.
You may.
Did you mention that you spoke to Natalia on the telephone?
I did.
If you know, do you know what drugs may have been involved?
I know cocaine and Molly, for sure.
You're referring to?
Ecstasy?
No, you're referring
Oh.
to who was taking that?
Both parties.
Anything else, if you know?
I can't say for sure.
I have no other questions at this time.
Cross-examination.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Let me start. Today, is this the first time that you've told the police or the prosecutor's office about what you saw that day?
Yes.
So up until this point, you've only spoken to the defendant about what happened or what you saw. Is that true?
Not necessarily. We didn't really talk about it.
Okay.
I wanted to talk to him about it. I wanted to express how I felt. and he just shut down and wouldn't.
Okay. But you never contacted the police or the prosecutor's office to let them know, and you knew about this case that's been going on, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you said that you were living with the Munteans from November 2015 to June 9th, 2016. Isn't it true that they were living in separate houses during that period of time?
It is true.
Okay. And so were you living with the defendant specifically during that time?
Yes.
Okay. I want to go to the 22nd. You said that you received phone calls from both the defendant and Natalia. The defense attorney, I think, kind of skipped over. What was the nature of the phone call from the defendant that you received?
The nature of the phone call was to pick up money
Money from where?
from the field, from him, and disperse it between Lubab, Nadia's babysitter, and myself, and that he wanted Nadia taken care of with this money.
Okay. So you would agree he's having you come to the field to get money from him and do something with the money, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then he is the one that told you to come there, right?
He told me to come there and then handed Natalia the phone to give me directions to come there.
Okay. And then you were using this communication that you were having with the defendant and with Natalia. This was through a specific type of app on a phone, right?
Yes,
Is that the Signal app?
it is.
Okay. Do you know what phone was being used to contact you?
I was getting messages from both Natalia and Radu.
Okay. Are you sure?
Yes, I was. Yes, I am.
Okay. So you go to the field. Was it dark when you got there?
There were street lights.
Okay. And they were on?
They were.
Okay. Do you know what time you got to the field?
I'm not sure.
But it was dark outside when you got there.
Yes.
Okay. So you said, I believe, that you drove up. About how far away from them did you stop?
My vehicle?
Yes. You can use the courtroom to estimate distances if that helps.
Probably the bumper of my vehicle was at the end of the room.
Okay. At the end, at the back wall back
Yes.
there? And then you are seated where their truck was?
Yes, but I would be kind of, it was kind of diagonal. Since they were pushed back into the field, I was on the street.
Okay. And they were in the defendant's blue pickup truck, correct?
They were.
Okay. Did you ever get out of your car?
I did.
Okay. And how far did you walk towards the truck?
I didn't go closer than probably a car length away from the truck. I mainly just stayed towards the street, and Radu did not want me to go near the truck.
Okay, so he came out from the truck to meet you, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And you said that you saw Natalia sitting in the truck, correct?
Yes.
But you didn't get close to her, is that true?
I did not get close to her.
Okay, but you said you saw a phone light on in the truck or something. You saw some light in the truck.
Yes.
Okay. But you couldn't see any details of her face or of her body at that point in time, is that true?
I could not.
Okay. But you did see the defendant up close, is that true?
Yes.
Did you see that he had blood on his pants
I did not.
or blood on his jacket?
I did not.
What about on his hands? Did you observe any blood on his hands?
He did not have blood on his hands.
Okay. And again, you testified that you asked him what was going on, and he said he couldn't do this anymore, and then he told you not to go to the truck. Is that true?
Can you rephrase that?
Sure, I'll break it down. So you asked the defendant, Mr. Muntean, what was going on. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay. And then his response to you was, he can't do this anymore. Is that what you just testified to?
Yes.
Okay. And then he explicitly tells you not to go to the truck. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay. You would agree that you are good friends with the defendant, is that true?
I am.
Okay. And you don't want to see anything bad happen to him, do you?
I do not.
Were you with him the night before this happened on March 21st, 2016?
I honestly do not recall.
Okay. Do you recall if you took him to the Michigan State Police post to pick Natalia up?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And you would agree that he was very upset at having to do that. Is that true?
He was.
And he was upset with Natalia. Is that true?
He was disappointed.
He was angry with her that she had put him in this situation. You would agree, right?
Disappointed.
Okay. And you said, you testified that he had been feeling a lot of frustration directed towards Natalia. That's true?
He was frustrated with himself, with his thought process, why he couldn't understand.
He was frustrated with his thought process and as it related to Natalia? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. Is it true that you do makeup as part of your job, part of how you make a living?
Yes.
Okay. And is it true that at one point in time Natalia asked you to cover something up, like a bruise or something on her body?
I've done makeup on Natalia multiple times for photo shoots. There was an event where she asked me how to cover up a bruise.
Was that before or after you saw the defendant shove her at some point in their house?
I do not recall.
When you were speaking with Natalia, you could hear the defendant in the background of those phone calls. Is that true?
Barely.
Hold on, Judge. How much money did the defendant give you?
$2,000 in cash.
In cash.
Yes.
When you got out to this field, when it was dark outside, in the middle of Detroit, did you know where you were going? Like, had you been to this area before?
I have not.
Did you think that this was odd?
It was definitely out of character.
Did you, at that point in time, think, you know, this is strange, I should probably maybe call the police or call someone for help?
It crossed my mind.
But you didn't.
I did not.
Okay. And again, you didn't call the police then, and you didn't tell anybody
They
about
didn't
this?
sound as if they were in danger. They sounded sad.
Well, when you said they, you really only spoke to, in person, the defendant at the field. That's true, correct?
In person, yes.
Yeah. And when you were talking to Natalia, she was just telling you how to get there, and then you mentioned something about the jewelry. Is that true?
Yes.
And when Natalia was talking, you said that you could barely, but you could still hear the defendant in the background of that conversation. Is that true?
Yes.
Nothing else, Judge. Thank you.
All right. Redirect.
One question. Would you consider yourself a good friend of Natalia Muntean as well?
Yes, we bonded over quite a few things.
Do you want anything bad to happen to her?
I do not.
I have no questions, Judge.
Recross.
Nothing else, Judge.
All right. Ma'am, you may step down. Members of the jury, I'm going to send you to lunch at this time. Come back at 10 minutes after 2. 10 minutes after 2. All right. Maybe seated.
You all set? Okay, Judge, they're ready.
All right.
All rise for the jury. So you want me to go straight out, sir, or stop?
And you go straight out.
Okay.
And after two.